time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victorious. So stand up and fight, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut up and bring it to me. Defend your
Yes. God, I love that song. Welcome, everybody. I didn't see you there. You surprised me. I'm Andrew Five Fingers Fiore. This is the DYM podcast. With me, as always, is the Dutch, the Beastmaster, the tall drink to my straw, Mr. Sean Donnelly, everybody.
Hello there, DYM-Nation. I love how you said you surprised me. I was just in my apartment singing the theme song to my podcast, and you just showed up. Ooh.
Didn't see you there.
How are you, Andrew Fiore? How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing well, my friend. I feel good. I finally strung a few nights of really good sleep together. Like I got my 8 hours for a few nights in a row, you know? It just wasn't happening for whatever reason. And I woke up today just whistling Dixie. And I don't even know if you can say that phrase anymore, but
no, probably not. I think
right?
There's got to be some kind of Confederacy thing in there.
There has to be. Yeah, just well, you know what? We used to go to when I lived in New Orleans after college. There used to be the Winn-Dixie supermarkets.
Yes, but I don't think that's like Dixie is the South, but whistling Dixie, I think, is related to slaves.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I think I'm canceled for even mentioning it. But I woke up feeling good, man. You know, I just had a little jump in my step, a little extra pep. So I wanted to come in hot on the intros right there.
Very good job, man. That was fantastic. We could hear the extra rest in your voice on those intros.
I feel good, baby. Feeling good. I've been eating really right this week too. The holidays are so hard to stay on track and really, you know, eat well, especially for a fatso like me. So I went to the grocery store, basically tried to buy all good stuff, been preparing all my meals at home. So I feel good about that. And it does help after like you string a few days of just eating some fruits and veggies, some lettuce in there. You really do start to have a more mental picture that's just clear, and you get the energy back. And
you feel like rejuvenated. You feel like it gives you energy. It gives you like, you know, nutrition. Who would have thought?
Confidence too.
Who would have thought proper nutrition could lead to a healthy body?
I know. It does stink though. I hate it. It's just not fun.
Awful. You know what I've been doing? I've been eating better, but I've also been.
You really do look good. I saw that picture. We'll talk about it later from the comedy show last night. I went, look at this skinny mini.
Oh, thank you, baby. Yeah, no, I'm down to the lowest I've been in a long time, but I have to get lower because for health reasons. I want to get like rid of the option for me to have diabetes.
I know. I always think about it.
And so yeah, but what I've been doing is I realized we're in the same boat, the fat fuck brigade here, and the thing is, like, my thing was always like I was just constantly eating without like realizing, like I'm the snacking or the types of shit that I was eating. So I've been cutting out like bread and as much sugar as possible, and then I'm like more mindful of the calories than I was, and I think that helps. So because especially since like we're just in our apartments all freaking day. So
I know. I have no exercise whatsoever.
Yeah, I was doing these like I told you about this on the podcast once. I've been doing these like old man retiree walks at the park around the track. You know what I mean? Like might as well be mall walking. You know, but like. But I was doing like I was doing like a few miles on the track, and then I would walk back and forth. So it was a little bit of exercise, but then it's like it's bitter cold now. It's like you can't do it.
But you forget just even going to wherever you were going to go in a daily routine in the before times of COVID, that was exercise. You probably walked a few miles just going to the subway, going to do spots, just etc. And now all that's gone. So
that's gone.
You know.
But yeah, you probably back then we probably did. I would say at least. Wouldn't she like 5 miles a day, 3 miles a day of that stuff?
Something around, yeah. I mean, we walk in this city everywhere.
Everywhere.
And, there's a couple times you and I we'd walk down from the Sirius XM building all the way down to the Comedy Cellar in the West Village. That was at least 2 miles. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. You do it like it's nothing. That's the good thing about New York. Like,
I know.
You do it like you're not even paying attention to it. You know.
I know. But big week. Things are, I think, getting better in the world. The vaccines are rolling out there, and it's gonna just get warmer. It might get colder before it gets warmer, but it's trending in a better direction for me, I think. At least mentally, figuratively.
The vaccines are coming out. They're going to take a while, but I think if you have a huge portion of people who have it, that's going to put people's minds at rest a little bit.
Absolutely.
Apparently, I heard that my sister was telling me they need 70% of the country to have the vaccines before you have herd immunity, just before it's naturally occurring. And I'm like, I didn't think it was that much. I thought I thought in 3 months, if you have 100 million people who have it, you're going to see the cases drop dramatically. Right. But am I a virologist? No, I'm not. I'm not.
I think 70 sounds right. That's
70% of the country. Yeah. See, I thought it would be like 100 million out of 400 million people in the country. I thought that would be enough.
I have no idea anymore.
How many people are active? Like how many people are like either kids where they're like their world is controlled by school and by their parents, and how many people, older people that don't go out or they're in a retirement home, and then how many like active younger to middle-aged people who are like working and walking around and going on subways, and going on buses and driving and going on, whatever it is. So that I think that number has got to be like 200 million or something like that, or 250 or something like that. I don't know. I'm basing this on no data, and I'm really trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about when I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I said something to my, hockey's back in full swing. I'm watching my New York Rangers every single night. And one of our players, they had a collision on the ice on Saturday night, and he had to be taken off the ice, and it looked really bad. And I'm texting with my Rangers chain, and I'm going, oh, man, that looks like a collarbone. And my buddy goes, I don't know. I broke my collarbone in high school. I don't think that looks like that at all. I go, I'm basing that on absolutely no medical knowledge. I just said something to say something right there.
Yeah, you're not watching the game with Dr. Fiore. That's not happening.
Right.
What's the not chiropractor, but what's the bone doctor? Is that not osteopath? What is that? That's
it might be osteo's bones, I think.
Osteo's bone, right? Yeah, osteopath. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's funny how I think a lot of people are now. We're just like, I'll just say this and put it out there.
Just to fill the space.
Somebody believes it. They believe it. There's one thing I wanted to talk about because I was really, really fun. I did a show the night before we're taping this right now. I did a show at the Comedy Cellar for this thing. I hosted a show for this thing called Mint Comedy, and it was really fun. But and it was everybody got tested that came in audience-wise, right? So it was kind of a cool idea, and they were broadcasting it to like 53 countries. Over 1,000 people were watching. Apparently, like this weird, really weird scenario. Like not weird scenario, like crazy scenario. But the craziest thing that happened is my friend who lives in California, and they're like very careful about COVID, which I think I am for the most part as well. But they're and their numbers are really bad out in LA.
Ooh,
my friend that I've known for like 20 years, she gets very upset if anything even happens. Like she doesn't want anything to happen because so when they watched the show like online, they watched my show last night, and they were like, "Hey, we watched your show last night. It was really good. But just so you know, all those people have COVID now. All of them have COVID." And I'm like,
oh, Jesus.
I'm and I want to agree with them, but I'm also in my head, I'm like, guys, you have to trust the tests somewhat. They wouldn't be doing these tests, even these rapid tests, if they weren't somewhat effective, like 90% effective.
Of course.
Like,
and also that doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
Does. Well, they're just being dramatic. But I mean, like, I was like, well, it's one of those things. And then she just started talking about how the setup, even with that, the people are going to get COVID and all this. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, but did you like the show? Like,
yeah, but my new joke is.
What'd you think about my set? Did you like?
That's so funny.
So, but it's also in my head, like, well, I took the test. It was the far back in the nose test, and I felt safe afterwards. I was wearing a mask. Well, it wasn't super far. It was far enough. It was way farther than it normally goes.
Yeah, that's
so it was good. Ooh. It was a good. I didn't realize it was going to be like that, and it was. Yeah. So you're testing a whole room of people. They were spaced out. We had masks. I'm like, at that point, you have enough guards up where I think you'll be okay.
Yeah, that's. I'm fine with it. I would go do it tonight. You know what I mean?
Right.
I am not that kind of mentality, but
I know I'm caring for myself. You know.
Yeah, people are like, I had my cleaning lady be coming here once a month, and my sweet Mary, she does a great job. We don't really know what kind of ethnicity she is. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but she's an odd duck, is what I wanted to say.
Oh, okay.
And a couple people were like, "What are you doing having this?" She's in her 60s, I think. She comes over and she does the cleaning of the apartment. And people go, "What are you having her come over for?" I go, "She has no problem with it. She needs the $80 a month. If
Right.
she's fine with it, I'm fine with it." People go, "You're going to kill this woman." I go, "I'm not going to kill this woman. I don't shadow her while she's cleaning. We're never near each other."
Yeah.
And so I got a little pushback from that, but I don't know if I ever brought this up on the pod before. She, since COVID started in March of 2020, has been leaving me little kind of bags of food, and the items are so random. I've started taking pictures of it. I've started documenting them. I'm not making this up. The first time she came to my apartment, it was maybe 4 months in to COVID, where I was like, "Hey," the place was becoming a fucking pigsty. So I'm like, "If you're okay with this, if you want to come clean, I'm okay. I'll leave, whatever, and then I'll come back when you're done." So that's what happened the first time. I let her in. I left, came back in a couple hours. My landlady at the laundromat on the corner goes, "Hey, Mary left you something. She said she was worried you're not eating." Now, no one's ever worried about that with me before, first of all. Second of all, if in fact she was worried about me eating, that makes the items she left me even more bizarre, because the first time she ever left a care package, I swear to God, I'm not making this list up. One Slim Jim. One. A Slim Jim.
What are you, a rabbit?
Dude. One sleeve of trefoil Girl Scout cookies. Not the box, just one sleeve. Some sort of mystery meat in a Tupperware container. I was too scared to even open it. I don't even know what it was. A box of bonbons, which I didn't even know was a thing anymore.
I'm pretty sure it was giraffe, that meat. I gotta be honest. It's probably giraffe.
Yeah, something bizarre. And then like some weird European thing that I couldn't understand the language. And I go,
"Oh my God.
All right, that's a very nice gesture. Maybe she, just wanted to give me some snacks or whatever." She comes back the next month. She's got more mystery meat and like a thing of egg noodles in a separate container.
Oh no.
Yeah, and it's more mystery meat, 2 Tupperware containers, and one of those little tiny Poland spring water bottles. Just one. Like I wasn't getting enough water, I guess.
She knows the exact amounts of stuff that you need. You don't need a whole bottle of water. You just need this little 4-ounce thing of water.
Now, the best one ever.
He's gonna
Christmas time comes around. I wish I had all the pictures. Last month, December, she comes, Christmas, holiday season, whatever. 2 individual sippy-sized cups of Yoo-Hoo. 1 single snack pack pudding container. And the coup de grace.
Why can't you just give me a snack pack?
An energy strip charging station.
I think is she just stealing this stuff from other apartments and bringing it to other people's houses?
This is everybody's first answer. This seems to be the general consensus of everybody I tell. They go, "She's taking things from other people's apartments and giving them to you."
Yeah, that sounds. Or people are giving her that stuff. Like she's not stealing. What are you supposed to do with the energy thing?
It says energy brand. ENERGI.
Oh, Jesus. Do not plug that thing in.
Dude.
What do you how is that food? What are you, short circuit? What are you gonna do? You're gonna
I've not eaten 1 ounce of any of this food.
Of course not.
I'm worried she's poisoning me. Crazy thoughts go through my head.
Yeah, and then, why would you do that?
There's one more. This Sunday, I got a haul, baby. I took the picture of this one, and we can even put this up on the DY. I have 3 months worth of pictures. Yeah, it only comes once a month. I wish I thought of this every time. This one, I swear to God, a spaghetti from Pasta City, spaghetti container, Girardelli, whatever that chocolate is, 90% 92% cacao, dark chocolate, one
Right.
solo package of Top Ramen, chicken ramen, a solo packet of Pop Secret popcorn, a package of Nerds candy, one can of diced fruit cocktail, one can of Bumblebee Chunk Light, a thing of Tic Tacs, a 6-pack of Sun-Made raisins, and one solo banana. I swear to God, I think she robbed a college freshman. I think,
dude. Yeah, she's robbing dorm rooms. You're getting regifted. This is the label baby all over again. You're getting I love the label baby.
I love the label baby.
Definitely, you're getting. She's collecting it. I don't think she's taking it. I think people are giving her that stuff or something, and then she's bringing it to you.
It's really the most bizarre thing in the world. I've got I text my little sister after she's text me every time Mary comes because I love it.
Is there a way that you could ask her, hey, Mary, just out of curiosity, where are you getting all this stuff? Could you just say to her?
I text her every time I go, Mary, you don't have to do this. Stop leaving me stuff. She goes, it's okay. I like doing it.
You know what? Just very politely go, what do? You bring it from home? What do you bring that stuff from home?
I don't really want.
She might tell you, no, from other people. I steal it from Mr. So-and-so.
Well, the thing was, our friend Mike Fenoya, comic, referred her to me. And I want to call Mike up and be like, hey, you missing any Girl Scout cookies? Or is your charging station missing by any chance?
You get a pen one day, it says Mike's pen on it.
But dude, she is just a odd duck, man, and she moves things around in very weird spots. Doesn't put anything back where it belongs. It's a real fun, entertaining time whenever I walk back into my apartment after she's done cleaning.
Dude, when I was younger, this is years ago. I was probably 21 years old. I was living at home in Long Island, and my mom was I had no job at the time, in between jobs. And my mom was having work done on the house. She was having work, her stairs done. She was having all this stuff done. And this guy named Boris, this Russian guy, was doing it. And he was such a weird guy. He was the husband of the lady who cleaned our house once a month or twice a month.
Right.
And he was a nice guy, but he's a weird guy to the point where I would wake up late, but he'd be there for a while already. And one day, the way my room was set up, the one that I was in, it was the room I grew up in, where it's this tiny room where if I was looking out my door, I could see the banister of the stairs, the top part of the stairs. Does that make sense? When you come up the stairs. And one day I just see he's not at the top of the stairs. He's only his head is above the part that I can see. So it's just his eyes just looking at me going, Sean, he had to wake me up for some bullshit reason. And he would just be weird all the time. And he would always have smelly food, super smelly Russian food. And then as it turns out, my mom was convinced we had vodka in our freezer, and the vodka kept going down. Sure. And my mom was like, "Oh, I think it's evaporating." And no, he was stealing vodka on a talk about stereotypical. Talk about the line drive of
that's so funny.
Russian Boris is stealing vodka out of the freaking freezer. What are you looking up for?
Dude, there's a centipede crawling on my ceiling above me, and I'm terrified right now.
Gross.
I keep looking up. He's moving, man. He's fucking.
Is it big?
10 miles an hour.
Is it big?
It's those ones that they say those actually keep other insects out. So I don't kill these guys. Those multi-P. Yeah, I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, millipede.
They're the Wisconsin multi-leg scary beasts, I think.
Whatever the hell they are. Oh God, gross.
He's on the tie. He's crawling right along the crease of the ceiling and the wall. He's just making his way around the room doing laps. And he caught my attention as you're telling the Boris vodka story. I can't stop tracking this guy now. I'm gonna make it you do your thing, and I won't kill you, buddy. If you don't bother me, I won't bother you. How about that? We'll make it.
Andy is now talking to the centipede.
But I got another thing that I want to get your opinion on this one. I won't mention anybody's names. I'll tell you off air who it was, but
okay.
She is a comic who runs a show, and it's a newer show. And so I said, hey, by text, I'd love to do your show sometime, smiley face. She wrote back, you're the fourth white guy who messaged me today.
You like? You should have wrote back. Do I get a prize? Do I get like a prize?
I wrote sorry? Question mark.
How dare you? How dare you?
I wrote, there are a lot of us.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what happened?
And then it was a big explanation of how I only booked 2 people show because it's 3 of us booking. I booked it blah, 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 blah. But still remind me again, absolutely, if you're still down. But I love you so much, but you know.
Yeah, right. Sure you do.
Well, at least we're going on merit now, you know.
Are we going on merit? If she just said
that's what I mean. That didn't come across sarcastic.
Sorry. Yeah. I love you so much, but you're the 4th white guy that
I just thought that was such a great response. You're the 4th white guy who's texting me.
Oh God! Please just say who it is. Fuck them. Who cares?
No, she'll be too upset. I'll text you right now. Yeah.
Here's the problem with that. Like, I think that's an issue I have with. Text me who it is because I
just text you because she's a little loony and she'll take it the wrong way.
No, I'm not actually saying to say it. Oh, I'm actually surprised. It's hard. I'm surprised.
Maybe
do that because she, there are a couple different reasons that I'll tell you after. But the issue with that's now in the lexicon of booking comedy shows where I don't think people realize. It wasn't back in the day people were booking mostly white guys. Like, I'm not saying people don't do that sometimes or whatever it is, but people like the numbers were so different. You know what I'm saying? It's a numbers game. It's not
it's a pure ratio.
I ran shows, dude, and I wasn't sitting there going, first off, I'm a white guy who hangs out with mostly white guys. That just happens.
Dude, you don't got to tell me on it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just telling the public here. I don't think people realize now people have an issue where it's like white guys just book white guys. It's like
quota.
That's who they know, probably most of them. And also the sheer numbers of it back in the day. Now it's way different, and I get that. But it's also a thing where it's like in the case of what you did, it's like, well, I'm worried about myself and my spots. I'm not sitting there. Yeah. You're not sitting there going, maybe they're filled up with white guys this month. Maybe they fuck off. That's fucking nuts.
Also,
everybody's gone crazy about this. Crazy.
How about you just start with that first message? Just go, hey, I will get to you eventually. I just, this is how I book it, blah, 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 blah. I don't need a race qualifier for it. Can you imagine if that was reversed? And I just went, you're the 4th Puerto Rican guy to text message me today. I'll eventually get to you.
Sure.
We've already got our quota of Porties.
Which would never happen. And I get it. Like, I get the idea. There's a lot of toxic shit in comedy. The open mic scene can be fucking brutal for women sometimes because they're sitting there and guys are literally doing a jerk off motion into their faces. I get that. And like, I get the vibe.
Yeah, and again,
we know a lot. Just the entire gas digital existing is very toxic for people. I get it. I totally know. I'm kidding. But I get like the idea that like a lot of it, but when it comes to the idea where now it's the reverse of it, where now you're counting the amount of white guys that are on a show. When back in the day, nobody was going, oh, I'm purposely only going to book one diverse act, one person of color, or one woman on the show. Or maybe it's just me. I never thought that.
No, I think you're right.
In a million years.
I don't think this person is worried. I think it's more she doesn't want that. I think what is happening now, because she is a younger comic, is that they are scared of maybe they just booked the show. They're scared of somebody looking at it from the outside perception and going, oh, look at how many white guys are on the show.
Yeah, they are.
Like, is that just what comedy, you know what I mean? It's more the perception from outsiders, which is what fucking bloggers and bullshit woke artists have done. It's like now people have to think about that rather than just booking the funniest show.
And person to person, most of these people, if you talk to them personally, well, I don't care but this. Well, I don't care but this. So if everybody doesn't care, and we all agree that, then why are we even giving a shit? You know what I'm saying?
And also, well, white women, you did a real good job from separating yourself from white culture. I know so many white women who love to really call out white men where I go, you're not that different. Remember the whole Karen thing? That's you.
Yeah, right.
That's
exactly. Yeah. Which I also hate, the fucking people. Karen thing. You people.
Yeah, it's obviously hacked, but I would never refer to it that.
No, I know. No, I'm
it's
just
a
saying.
thing for a reason.
Yeah, it's a thing for a reason. So that's funny.
Anyway, I wanted your 2 cents on that.
And
one.
I do know the person that did that is great. She's great, but she's a good person.
Yeah.
But she has to relax. Let's relax.
Can you see Centipede? He's behind my head now, above me. It's too small.
Yes, I can't. No, I can't see it. I can't see it.
He's right there.
No, I can't see him.
See a speck.
Yes, I can see it.
You see him moving. He's on the move. He's just doing hot laps around my room.
I would like to go over some of your endings here. Let's go for some of your last week. We had some homework. Yeah.
Excuse me. So yeah, I don't know where if you want to start at the our favorite endings or endings that you would like to see changed.
Let's do endings we'd like to see changed. What do you have for that one?
Very controversial one.
Yeah.
It goes against my whole fiber of my being, and I'll tell you why. I don't even know since I wrote this down, I've kind of had a change of heart where I'll just give you the reason. It's Jaws, which I know is sacrilege.
Wait, what?
I know it's my favorite movie of all time. And I wouldn't necessarily change the ending, but I kind of would change something in the movie that would affect the outcome of the ending. Does that make sense? So,
what would
theoretically that would change the ending? I love how it ends. Don't get me wrong. I love the smile, you son of a bitch, and I love the Quint death scene and them defeating the shark by shooting the tank and blowing up. But in the book, Hooper has an affair with Mrs. Brody. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I didn't know that. No.
And Hooper dies in the book. And I kind of always thought that would be a cool thing that they have explored that in the movie, where if Chief Brody finds out about Hooper and the affair with Mrs. Brody, Helen, would they have been such partners on the boat?
No, not at all.
So it's not so much me changing an ending. It's more of I would have kind of liked to see that. Also, but again, it's a perfect movie. I'm now already regretting saying anything.
Let's be honest. You're not going to have Richard Dreyfuss having an affair with Lorraine Gray. I don't think that's going to happen.
Right.
It's like, I'm having an affair with your wife.
Yeah.
I'm fucking your wife, Brody. Like that's like a bad Dreyfuss impression. I'm bonking your wife.
Yeah. Also, common mistake. It's Lorraine Gary, not Gray. Because I said that wrong for years.
Who is it? Lorraine who?
Gary instead of Gray. I read it Gray for years, and then one day somebody was like, "It's Lorraine Gary, not Gray," and I was like,
"Oh, is it? I thought it was Lorraine Gray."
No, I did too forever.
She's
apparently somebody very high up's wife, which is why she got the Helen Brody part. Not that she's bad. I think she's fine.
Yeah. What about and also what you just described is like 90% of Hollywood anyway. But what do you what how did he die? How did Hooper die in the book?
I believe by the shark. Somebody back me up on that because I'm not exactly 100% sure.
So yeah, I think you're right. I think I wouldn't have liked it as much as if he had an affair with her, or if they put that part in the movie.
Yeah.
You needed them all to be friends on that boat.
Yeah.
They even end up relating to Quint on the boat,
Right. Do you remember you and I both connected over this because when Hooper gets to the Brody's house for dinner, he does that very road comic thing where there's just food sitting around and he goes, "Anybody gonna eat this?" Which is a very I'm on the road all the time. I'll just take whatever meal I can have.
Oh, look at this. Killed Mike Mushy Mike. Killed while in the shark cage. So when he goes, when he narrowly escapes that in the movie, in the book, he doesn't get out of it. Okay, that makes sense.
Correct.
But yeah, but come on, if you have him get killed Spielberg knew what he was doing, or whoever wrote the script, because who was that? That was
it was Peter Benchley.
Yeah. But they kind of figured out because them two kicking their way back to shore, that's a great last shot.
Yeah.
Great last shot.
Is it today? Tuesday? I think it's Wednesday. Yeah. No, it's a pretty perfect movie, but it was a random thought, and I
hear you. No, you would rather have like more of the book in the movie or whatever it is.
Again, I don't even know if I should have started with that one. I don't.
All right, you want to cleanse the palate? You want to do another one?
Why don't you take a turn?
Okay. I will. Well, I don't know if this one. I thought of this, and I think people might get mad at me for bringing it up because it's not. It's an ending, but it's not technically an ending.
Oh,
Buster Scruggs.
Okay.
Which is all little vignettes. Well, it's all as a whole. I wish the last one they put in that wasn't the one about them going to the mansion or whatever it is. Like on the way to the thing. I just think as a quality of like how good the movie was. That one is the one I liked the least, and it drew out the most. And I wish they would have they could have put that one in the middle or after the one about the dog with the dog, and then put maybe the James Franco one at the end to make it like, oh, that's a perfect button on the end because it's really short. And I feel like I would have liked the order to be a little bit different on Buster Scruggs.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, all right, great. And then yes, that's mine. But yeah, okay, great. I thought you might not agree with me. I thought you would be like, all right. I thought you'd be like, that doesn't count. It's not an ending of a movie, but it kind of is because they all fit together. Whatever it is. Do you have another one?
This one's kind of. You're gonna hate me for this one, or I don't know what you think. I when I did this list, I did it like 3 days ago, and then I came back to it. And now I'm like, what was I thinking? Forrest Gump.
So you don't want her to what do you don't want about Forrest Gump at the ending?
I think he should have had AIDS. I'm kidding.
That would have made it. That's another 2-hour movie. You know what would have been great if Forrest Gump's ending was just the beginning of Philadelphia. That would make.
I was going to say the Sixth Sense. That kid. How fucking crazy would that be? The Sixth Sense kid who plays Little Forrest starts seeing dead people and it blows Forrest's mind because that retard can't fucking figure shit out.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So no, I think that you're wrong on that one. I'd have to say. I'd say that they did a pretty good.
Jenny was really a piece of shit, though.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be that even what she did at the end fit into her personality perfectly throughout the entire movie. She was just like, "Yeah, I'll just look to you to help me out," like that kind of thing.
Right.
But then you're. The weird thing also is, what's weird about Forrest Gump? It's weird. Not that I'm saying it's weird. He has that relationship, and yeah, there's a story. But the fact that Forrest Gump it's just supposed to be kind of a narrative piece to show you that generation.
Yeah,
is weird. That at the end, it's just about the story. Like there's not any grand theme. I guess her having AIDS is that makes sense. I guess that story at the end is what would bring you into the 80s AIDS epidemic and his personal version of that. So I guess that makes the most sense.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm not saying you're saying you should have AIDS. I'll bring up one that I thought of that I think should have had a different ending that we just mentioned recently. Because I mentioned what did I say? 25th Hour. And what was it again? I had the same ending. Remember I said with the recap thing?
Yeah. What was it? Fuck.
I forgot what it was, but 25th Hour, I honestly believe, I think they should have had him, that he should have gotten killed at the end of that movie.
I agree.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that it would have been more impactful. I think doing the dream sequence thing gets really tired in some of these movies and stuff like that. And I guess it wasn't as bad because they have him wake up and you kind of think it's what's happening, but then it's not, whatever it is. But I think for how harsh everything was and how badass it was supposed to be in that movie and how real and gritty it was, it could have been a thing where he immediately gets to jail and gets killed or gets killed before he can even get to jail, or there's some kind of mix up and he gets killed, or just like American History X, which is another Edward Norton thing where you don't see that coming, but that works. That kid getting killed, that brings you right back down to earth on that.
Totally. Yeah. All right, I'll lay one on you here. One of your favorite directors, David Fincher. I always wanted to see the outcome of Seven if Brad Pitt didn't shoot Kevin Spacey. If he was able to not give Kevin Spacey what he wanted. If he was able to I know it's a great ending. It's a phenomenal ending, but And I probably would have done the same thing. This guy decapitated my pregnant wife and put her head in the box. But I just wonder, just to let the good, because the bad guy wins, kind of actually totally wins, even though he dies. Everything that he wanted to happen happens. You know what I mean?
So that's why it
John Doe has the upper hand.
That's why it happens. That's why it kind of works, though, because
I know that's why it works.
That bittersweet thing of you're like, yeah, you're satisfied because Spacey's dead, but then you're also wondering, you're like, oh fuck, should he have done that? Like he shouldn't have. He what he wanted. He gave him exactly what he wanted. I could see that happening if he didn't do it, but I think the whole idea of that character was like, that's such a brutal ending too. It's so brutal.
It's terrible.
The whole idea of that is that that character, that's exactly what he would have done. There's no way that, like, that guy, he didn't have the measuredness and the wherewithal not to kill that guy.
No, like, he's a naive kind of greenhorn.
He's seeing red at that point. There's no.
Absolutely.
So I think the reason why it would have been cool to me, what you're saying, because it would have been cool to see that, but you also, him not doing it, and then Spacey, there would be kind of like an unresolved feel to it. But besides that, the reason why it'd be interesting is because it would go against character. It's almost like that could be the thing that he learned. If they weren't going to go that route to make it that dark, the thing that he learned from Morgan Freeman, like, it would have shown that he matured, because he's just like this like hothead. And it's not about that mostly in the movie. You know, the movie's about them chasing the killer. But I mean, the idea that he's maturing as a cop and he's getting the big picture by shelving his emotions at that last thing is a huge moment. You're right. So that could have been a cool thing, you know?
Yeah. All right, sir. What do you got?
Let me see. What else do I have here? Oh, you know which one always, I guess it's a good ending, but I would love to see if you wanted to go the heartbreaking route, because it's such an important movie to me. So a movie that could stand to have the ending changed would be Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Like if they did end up not together at the end of it, but I guess that would defeat the purpose of the point of the relationship.
But I can see that
no matter what. But yeah, the idea that
not everything's going to be a happy ending. You know what I mean?
It's going to be a happy ending. Yeah, exactly. So I thought that would be interesting. But the more I'm talking about it, I kind of feel like how you did with just Jaws. Now I'm like, oh no, the whole idea was even after this procedure, we're still going to be, no matter what. It's almost like fate bringing the people back together every time.
I thought the first time I saw it, it was going to be an unhappy ending. Do you know what I mean?
So did I.
I thought this is going to be one of those heartbreakers where we're all going to walk out of here and go, fuck, they didn't get together. You know what I mean?
Yes, right.
And you're just gonna have to live with that. And I don't mind movies that do that. I can handle a heartbreak in a dramatic feature, but you know, it is nice payoff when things do work out. I will say that.
Yeah.
I have some more. I have just some of my favorite endings ever, and it might be fun to, in the Jaws category, if these were ended any differently. So I wrote down, I mentioned Raising Arizona and American Beauty last week as some of my favorite endings. I know you love this one too, is just the ending of There Will Be Blood, you know? I'm finished.
I just wrote it down, and I wanted to, and I had something to say about that. Yeah, what were you going to say about There Will Be Blood, the ending? That's one of your favorites.
Oh, one of my all-time favorites. I just love how fed up he gets with Paul Dano's character and just says, it's easier for me to just fucking kill you and be done with you than put up with any more of your bullshit anymore. And then just go, I'm finished. Yeah, I love it.
It's so
a beautiful, beautiful film.
First off, that ending comes out of fucking nowhere. Like, that's what's so great about it.
The first time I saw it, I was I was like, what the fuck is this?
Blown away. But the weird thing is it just me, or do you get weirdly satisfied? You get weirdly satisfied by that ending. Like,
100%.
You are so on board with him just brutally murdering that dude.
The first time I saw it in the theater, I didn't love the ending because it was so abrupt, and I went, all right, kind of on multiple rewatchings. I go, I fucking love it. It's perfect.
And I'll tell you this much, and I would love, I should have prepared more of these. How many movies are out there that end on the line? I think a lot of do, but ones that stick out in your brain. The one line movie endings that just perfectly put the bow on the end of the movie. I'm finished. That's one of the best things in movie history is I'm finished. Because what he's saying is, I'm fucking done. And then he's him saying personally, like he's like, I might as well be dead. And he's also saying, I'm finished with this this guy I just murdered. Yeah. We're finished. Our conversation is over.
So great.
So it's because there's also one that I used to watch, and I'm not even a huge fan of this movie. I think this is one of those movies that I used to pretend to like more than I do because I know film buffs love it, and my dad loved it, and I don't think I'm a generation that like our generation shouldn't even love this movie. Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying About the Bomb and whatever, do something.
How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
Love the Bomb, whatever it is, and it's a fun movie. But the whole point of that movie is that it's a spoof on Failsafe, which was a movie back from like the 50s or the 60s. But that's another one-line ending movie because the weird, not the whole gag about Peter Sellers in the movie is that he's a Nazi, but he's trying to hide it the whole time. Right. And so that at the end, the bomb goes off, the bomb's dropped, and then he stands up in his wheelchair and he goes, "Mon frère, I can walk," and then they just go to "Well meet again," and then they just show the mushroom clouds, and I think it's such a cool. It's cool looking to me, but I also don't fully get it. I think I'd have to read some stuff on it. But I think it was one of those things. But it's a really cool one line. It just he says that out of nowhere, and then it's a fun movie. There's a bunch of things I laugh at in the movie, but I think the point of it is lost comedy. Super dark comedy. But I think it's lost on me. You know what I'm saying? I
still love watching super young Slim Pickens ride the bomb and then thinking about him in Blazing Saddles. You know what I mean? I'd say you boys have had enough. Kills me every time. More beans, Captain?
So, yeah, I'm wondering also, maybe you guys can tweet at us, not to keep harping on endings, but if somebody's listening, we have some DYM-Nation that writes back to us. And let us know your favorite. Or just some examples of some perfect one line ends.
I'll give you another one.
Yeah, go for it.
So up there in my top 3 probably of all time, Cool Hand Luke. I love it. But I kind of hate how he gets killed at the end rather than I would have loved to see a more mysterious ending. Like, because he is so... George Kennedy's character, Dragline, by this time is so attached to anything that Luke does. You know, he basically worships him, which is obviously a central theme throughout the whole movie is that, you know, Luke rises to become this almost like Christ-like figure, you know, with the 50 eggs. He's even in the position of the cross. But I know it's kind of a whole tie-in like that, but by killing him / crucifying him, whatever, you know, he becomes even more of a vaunted, you know, figure where you even see them in the final shots, Dragline, them like making up stories, you know, that are even crazier than the actual facts of what happened.
Right.
But I always thought that maybe Luke, we don't know what happens to him. Like when they catch up to them in the church, I just thought it might have been interesting if instead of the finality of him being killed, we don't know what happens. Like we run off, like he runs off or he escapes or somehow, and George Kennedy Dragline is just still left to be caught. And it furthers the tale and the myth and the legend of Luke. So we don't know if he's dead or we don't know what happened. We don't know if he's escaped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
That's just me. That's obviously I think
that could work. I'll agree with that one. Yeah.
I love it. Again, I think it's one of the more perfect movies ever made.
Another thing I was going to bring up of one that I love is, and you know, we mention it all the time, and I think it's. Oh, I'll tell you one that we've mentioned. I'll tell you this one before I mention the big one that I want to talk about. A great one that's so succinct and so perfect that you don't expect because of the type of level of movie that it is, and you know, we just talked about. I just rewatched it. I'm hanging out with a young lady, and we watched a bunch of movies over the past couple of days, and we were rewatch because she loves like scary movies. Run. We watched Run again. Remember Run?
Oh, cool.
That Joe List recommended to both of us when we watched.
Yep.
I'll tell you, you want to talk about great endings? That's a great fucking ending. And I haven't seen it yet. Turn it off right now because for a second I'm going to talk about the ending. But but the fact that, you know, the whole goal of the mom, the whole movie was to incapacitate the daughter so she could hold on to her as a baby for life. And if you guys don't know, but in Run, the mom ends up becoming catatonic, and then and she's in the jail infirmary, and the daughter goes every so often to visit her, and then feeds her these pills that just keeps her the way that she wanted to keep the daughter. It's so
great. It's great payoff.
Really payoff at the end of that movie, because it's already, that movie is like, it's shot really well. It's everything about it is really good. It knows exactly what it is.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
We've talked about that a lot on the podcast. If a movie that knows what it is, knows what its goal is, not trying for these lofty freaking messages, not trying for anything, just trying to be almost Hitchcockian, like modern day Hitchcockian. And then to have that last punch at the end is fantastic. It's such a great idea.
All right. So speaking of last punches, I wrote down 2 of my favorite last punch scares of all time. Can you guess what they are? Think of like final shots. Well, for one, not necessarily the final shot.
Is Psycho one of them?
Psycho's not one of them, but that's a super creepy, great ending.
When they reveal
even hurt a fly.
Yeah. Well, no, even when they reveal the dead body towards the ending.
Yeah, you don't like the spooky ones. So the scariest moment of my childhood might have been in Friday the 13th Part 1 when young Jason pops out of the water.
Oh yeah, I think you mentioned that one.
I shit my pants the first time.
Well, it's also like, that's the perfect. Were you in the movie theater?
No. It came out in 80.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I would have been 8 months old.
Yeah. But that's like the thing where it's supposed. That's where you saw it.
Oh.
That's like the perfect moment where you're like the right age, just get freaked the fuck out by something like that.
So there's my second one, is the ending of Carrie. When the hand comes out of the grave, forget about it.
Oh yeah, that's real crazy. But yeah, I never rewatched those movies, because you know me and those scary movies. I'll say another one just to dip back to the ones I would change. I got to be honest,
right
I never enjoyed the ending of Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights had crossed my mind to add to this list, but I do. It's a redemption story. So.
But the way they did it was, I know they had to go into the 80s because they had to show the video age and then everything becoming sad. And I'm glad it was a happy ending, I guess. But if anything, is it a
happy ending? It's an ending. It's not necessarily happy.
I thought the vibe of the ending is like, we're just a family now, and this is like a sitcom situation where we're just like, we're happy and contented in our porno world. I didn't think of it as,
I guess so, but
going, so it's sad. I didn't think of that at all.
But I mean, it's still not a great life. You know what I mean?
But that's not what he's trying to say with that.
I know, but
where I took that as, I'm saying.
I mean, you don't walk away, with a big smile on your face after you watch the film. You go, well, I'm glad everything worked out. You know what I mean? It's nice to see Eddie come back and make amends with Jack and get help. But he's still in that very, probably at that time, still like a really sick, bad world. It was still the 80s, early 80s, and we still don't know what.
But the world that he's creating earlier in the movie, but that's the only family he ever knew, right?
Sure.
He's back in the womb. He's back under the bosom of that the safeness of that family. I thought that was the vibe, especially with
you're right.
And he's happy, and it's not like when they showed him strung out when he's at the Alfred Molina's house, which is one of the greatest freaking scenes in movie history. He's like, "Okay, you guppies!" Like when it was the shotgun scene, is so great. But that's supposed to be that's rock bottom. The ending's not rock bottom. The ending it's not even like bottomed out, because you would have known it in the how they were trying to convey it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
he's starting to make a quote unquote comeback to a normal-ish life for at least what he knows.
What he knows. And the thing that he was the most
still not a great life, you know what I mean?
But that's you saying that, because we know nobody wants to be in porno. You shouldn't be in porno.
Right.
But if you're him looking through his eyes, you're back home oh my God, I'm just happy to be with my family and doing the thing that the most successful thing I've done in my life. Yeah. And making some money and whatever it is. So I think it's supposed to be. I think it is like full circle redemption kind of thing, which I never really agreed with that much. Because think of it this way: they could have made it. Think about how much more hard you would have known just by the shots or the look of it that he wasn't happy that he was back. Like you're looking at it through the eyes of the character. He's totally okay with it. Like he's not.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So the outsider, it's like, yeah, but you're still in porn. I don't think that was the point they were trying to make at all.
No, I know. I'm speaking on a bigger scale. It's like, it's not meant to be like a big smiley happy ending. It's like, that's a good ending for Eddie's character, but it's still not a great spot to be in. If you know what I mean? It's good for Eddie.
But it is. It does have a status quo, I'm comfortable feel to the end of it.
Yeah.
There's no term. Like I don't see any turmoil in that last scene when he's talking to himself in the mirror. I don't see him not okay with anything.
I know we got to wrap up soon, but did you like Magnolia's ending? Same director, same filmmaker, and you see. Well, it's basically it's the frogs, and you learn that they're all connected in a way.
I like that probably better than Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights, I think they could have matched the movie. I think they could have made it match the movie better. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because that is more of also kind of a non-resolution, but it's also a resolution. You know, like Paul Thomas Anderson does kind of love to do that, where you're not getting necessarily closure, but you feel like you did. You know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I realize all these people are connected in some weird way. And I don't know. I'm sure there's some sort of deeper meaning with all the biblical stuff and the frogs, but
I'm sure there was, but and the coincidences thing, and I thought it because of the stories tied in together. I was okay with that ending. I thought that was kind of a cool resolution to that movie, even though maybe the very last shot's not. I think it's just her singing. It's what's her name singing the Amy Mann song. It's the very last shot, which is a cool effect. Which is a really cool effect.
Do I have to watch What? Do I have to watch Phantom Thread again? Because the first time I watched it,
I didn't like Phantom Thread the first time I watched it.
I didn't like it either, but it's again one of those filmmakers where like sometimes I'll watch it once and then I'll see it a second or a third time. Like we talked about this with Inside Llewyn Davis last week.
Which I still have to rewatch. Yeah.
Yes, but I'm like I remember being kind of fucking bored the whole time.
I kind of was too. There was elements of it that I liked, but I'll tell you before we wrap up. We should do one more that we love. You want to do one more each that we love?
Okay.
Mine is big. We talk about it all the time. It's
big.
It's what? No, not big.
I was like, that is a great ending. Everybody's happy at the end of Big.
It is a great ending, actually. No, what's her name? Is that Elizabeth Perkins? Isn't she? Kind of bummed out.
She learns about herself. You know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you know,
she gets out of a toxic relationship, and
I don't know if I mentioned this on the show before. The original ending is that she was going to go back with him.
Oh, I think you did. That is a good one.
Yeah, so that kind of works. That's how they were going to go about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my big one, which I love, and it is Final Shot. It's Final Shot. Like it's final is Michael Clayton. I think it's a
great one.
It's great. It's great. And then we talk about it a lot on the show. We love it. It's like it's our go-to on the podcast.
Yeah.
But for me, the reason why I love it in regards to the movie is because that movie is building pressure. Like it's like Tilda Swinton is. You watch her physically get ill of how much anxiety she has of what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
He's almost getting killed. You're climbing this, this pressure, and at the end, the perfect thing to do was to have him in the taxi. It's one giant exhale at the end of that movie. That's why I love it, and it's such a cool. And one of the things I'll listen the score during. It's called $25 worth of the score during that ending. I've listened to like on Spotify myself to like calm down. Like that's how much I love that ending. Is that I've like almost pictured myself as Clooney in that freaking taxi, like chilling out, like and complete like. And also, I think it's probably one of the hardest things to do in acting is to do what he did during that scene. To act like
it's really an extended.
Nothing is so fucking hard. It's got to be so hard.
I love it. I agree with you. Great one. I am mad at myself. I didn't think of it. I know it seems like a cop out, but I'll always go back to, I love kind of the last 4 minutes of Fargo where it's that realization of my life is pretty good and yours is totally fucked up. And even though my life is not something an outsider would seem as anything special, I like it and I'm happy with it. It's just,
they're driving in the car,
what's
right?
Her fucking name. Yeah.
Frances
McDormand. She's just going, you killed all these people. And for what? For a little bit of money. And she just listens and she goes, and it's a beautiful day. It's just like gray shit day in Minnesota. And she goes, for a little bit of money, and it's a beautiful day. And then it actually ends in her and Norm are in bed. And she goes, you know what, Norm? We're doing pretty good. And they're about to have a baby. And it's just a beautiful, nice ending where like that's all that they need and care about, you know?
And I think you're right. It is an amazing ending, and mostly because it's like it's so funny because the vibe of that car ride with Peter whatever Stormare, Stormare or whatever his name is, and the vibe of her doing that.
Pete.
It's yes, right, exactly. You mean the holes? That's what he said. The vibe of her doing that is like if you did something wrong and your mom was chastising you for doing it. And he had just put 2 people in a wood chipper. And she was like, because it had so many elements. It had the Midwestern thing to it, but it also had the thing of like
Stormare, maybe that's his name.
Stormare. Yeah. And then it's also like she was just making sense out of the whole thing because you're watching it, like you're in it, like,
He does look like he's kind of like getting scolded too. He's got a great, perfect face for it.
Yes, he does. Yeah. But
I love it.
It's a really great ending. Really great.
I love it. You love it. We all love it. That's what people say about this podcast, baby.
People do, and absolutely. And I didn't even mention it during the show, but you can talk to us about all of our choices. We could probably do like 3 or 4 episodes on fucking endings, to be honest.
Oh, I love a fucking ending, man. I really do.
We'd still like to hear from you. What is your favorite ending or one that you would change? Movie ending, movies only, please. You can hit us up. We are at the DYM podcast on Instagram and Twitter, and also just hit us up with any questions. What do you want us to talk about on the show? Your opinions about movies. Somebody just wrote to us regarding one of the things we talked about last week. So please let us know at the DYM podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Also, guys, this is so important. We want to get more ears, I should say, on the podcast. Please, please, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Share it on your social media if you can. All it's going to do, there it is. It's at the DYM podcast. That's our friend Mike popping that up there for you. It's only going to help the show. We have a blast talking to each other about movies. We have a blast talking to you guys. We have a blast interacting with you guys online. Hit us up. Message us. Please. Tweet at us, whatever you want to do. But just we want to get the word out there about the podcast. Let everybody know that you love the DYM podcast.
Absolutely. And if you aren't sick of us by that point, tune into our SiriusXM radio shows. We each have our own show. Shawnee has a great show called Celebrate. It's on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. on SiriusXM Raw Dog 99. And I have my show called The Raw Report on Thursdays at 4 p.m. on SiriusXM Raw Dog 99. So tune in, subscribe, listen on the app, and all that fun stuff. And you can follow me at Andy Fiori at my personal socials, ANDYFIORI. Not much on the calendar right now, Shawnee, but where can they find you?
They can find me at Shawnee Time, SEANYTIME, and it's about the same. I just had a show in Connecticut. While you're hearing this, it'll already be done. But besides that, not much going on, folks. Not much at all. So give us the heads
movies.
up. Watch movies. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to talk about it some more. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thanks so much to Mike for doing this with us.
Thanks, Mushy Mike.
Fucking awesome. Mike, once again, I keep forgetting. Are you Mike V. Suarez on Instagram?
That sounds right.
Oh, yes. At Mike V. Suarez on Instagram.
At Mike V. Suarez. Give Mike a follow. Hit him up.
Mike Voldemort Sanchez.
Oh, the name who cannot be.
Sanchez. I gave him the wrong.
Jesus, how racist is
What is your middle name, Suarez?
Vincent.
Oh, Vincent.
Vincent. Even better.
Mr. Vincent Suarez.
Thank you guys so much. We will talk to you next week and have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.